I probably would have put about $1 million on never being in early childhood when I was younger. I never played teacher or dreamt of being a teacher. Before coming to early childhood, I was actually a practicing engineer working in general construction in the Madison area. For my position, I have a 4-year degree. My degree is in industrial engineering, so it's a non-related field. But with that, to be the site director, I have a business administration minor, so that helped give me the business side of my position. Everyone kind of thinks that, oh, if you're the site director, you sit at a desk, or oh, if you're the teacher, you work with the children in the classroom. But everything is really interrelated. We work with the community. We have community opportunities. We have school-wide events. If there's a child illness, we work through it in the office, lending a hand if there's an emergency in the classroom. Helping our teachers stay current on their training, being able to work with a child and teach them a new concept or help them develop a new concept. There are so many different angles and there's so many different approaches and there's so many different things you do in a given day. No 2 days are the same. I'm pretty sure not even 2 hours are ever the same. So there's never any monotony, that's for sure. I love working with children because you can really feel like you're changing the future. 80% of brain development happens before age 3 and 90% by age 5. So being able to understand basically the greatness of the impact that you're making on who that future child will become is just something that I can't even put words to. You never know who's going to be the next president, who's going to be the next founder of Google or cure cancer. So by giving children the best start possible, you really can make a huge impact on your community and on the world in general. There's also just the validation of it when you see a child take their first steps or roll over for the first time or understand the concept of numeration and how 2 + 2 = 4 all of a sudden. You get to be there for those sparks, and it's pretty rewarding to be able to see all those individual little sparks happen 30, 40 times over. For example, problem solving, critical thinking. Those skills aren't developed in high school. They're not developed in college. They really start in infancy with a child's ability to navigate their body out of a situation that they're not comfortable with, or a child taking their first steps when they spill their milk, having a towel for them to clean it up. That problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills, all those things that kind of you or I would look for when hiring an employee or in a colleague. Those outside-of-the-box intangibles are something that we can really have a big impact on with a high-quality early childhood education experience. Not to say that doesn't happen in high school and doesn't happen in college, but we can have a really significant difference in the early years of a child's life. So my own personal philosophy, that fits really perfectly because I really like to think that we're not just educating children with their basic academics, but preparing them for real life, for the world. And children need to be able to problem solve and think critically and navigate different situations successfully rather than just being handed everything. We only have, I think, something like 2,000 days before a child enters kindergarten to make sure we're making as large of a difference as we possibly can to set that child up for success. The best way for teachers to work with parents is to really have an open relationship. You're partners in a child's caregiving. You really have to be on the same page so that that child gets a continuous and regular message both from their parents and their teachers. Depending on a child's schedule, you can spend up to 50 or 60 hours a week with them while their parents are at work or away. So really making sure that we're on the same page and giving a child a consistent message so they know what their expectations are. Having an open dialogue, knowing that you can talk to one another if you have any questions or concerns, and making sure that you have a mutually respectful relationship too, that everyone's out to do what's best for their child. Staying on top of current research is really important because developmentally appropriate practice is constantly evolving. And developmentally appropriate practice is basically all about doing what's best for the children, the best that we know at that moment in time. There are lots of great resources out there for us as teachers, in addition to college classes, other training opportunities throughout the area. Really just trying to understand that our learning as teachers is also never done helps us stay current too. The training that's been most beneficial working with young children is honestly my engineering background. Coming from a job site with hundreds of different skilled carpenters, laborers, iron workers, you name it, working with so many different people with different areas of expertise and different interests, things like that, and so many moving pieces happening simultaneously really helped me in my position both as a teacher and as a site director. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Everything's interrelated. If one person changes the schedule and concrete trucks get to a job site too early, or if someone decides that snack's going to be offered at a different time and the children are hungry earlier or not quite interested in it yet. Everything's really interrelated. So being able to navigate all those different moving parts and understand the relationship to the whole really helped me probably more than anything I've ever learned. For someone teaching young children, the most important skills and traits would probably have to be flexibility. You really have to be able to have a plan A and B and C and D and to change what you're doing to best meet the needs of the children. You don't necessarily know exactly what their needs will be that day until you have a chance to work with them. So definitely flexibility. Enthusiasm. It's really hard to not be excited about coming into work and doing what you do every day. But the children are really perceptive to your attitude, so if you have a good attitude and are enthusiastic about their learning, they will be too. And then probably lastly, respect. A lot of people don't necessarily value how important early childhood education is and how valuable the children's time is, but having a respect for the children and the importance of their learning and what they're there to do really helps develop that relationship between teacher and student too. One of the biggest challenges we face in the coming years is kind of the perception of early childhood education. There's still this stigma around it that it's daycare and it's babysitting, and our head of school likes to say we don't care for days and we don't sit on babies. It's really a professional field. There's a lot of research and a lot of education that goes into training teachers in a high quality setting. And it's just really hard to break that perception that, oh, children don't start learning until kindergarten. When in reality, 90% of their brain development is done before kindergarten. That ship has sailed, that time has passed. So helping people understand just how valuable and how important a high quality early childhood education setting is to a child's future growth and development. When thinking about the legacy that I want to leave for myself, but then also for my son and the children in the community that I get to work in, I really want them to know how important early childhood is, how big of a difference it makes, and how personally rewarding it is. You don't ever leave home upset about how your day went, no matter what kind of behaviors you work through. There are always so many positives that happen throughout the day. It's more so an honor and a gift to be able to be a part of so many children's lives and so many families' lives because you get to change who that person will be in the future, or not necessarily change, but have an impact on who that person will be. For our community to grow and become an even better place to live, we really need to be investing in our children. The Quad Cities is a great place to call home. So many people, even myself, I moved away to Wisconsin for 10 or 12 years and then came back because it's a great place to live and a great place to raise a family. But we really need to help everyone understand that if we want to change the future of our community, we really have to start with the youngest of children. You can start at infancy, you can start in utero. Children start learning language 3 months post-conception. So you can really have an impact on what our future community will be like by investing and making good, high quality early childhood education choices for children so that they have the best start possible.